You're listening to The Social. I'm Sam Day, sitting in for Kitty Perrin. And on the first Wednesday of the month here at The Social, we hand over the last hour of the programme to some of Suffolk and Norfolk's youth for a takeover. This week's takeover is being hosted by Headucate, a student society at the University of East Anglia that's focused on dismantling mental health stigma. So, Tori, Becky, Awesome, Gaia and Amy are here with me now. Hello, folks. Hey!
Hello!
Hey! Oh, you're all here. So amazing stuff. We're going to be finding out so much more about you guys as you take out over the next hour worth of radio. But first, let's get into some music in our hour takeover on The Social. Thanks to UEA student-run society Headucate. Let's get a track on now. Mr. Jam, PS1, Monday, Kind of Tuesday, BBC Radio Norfolk and BBC Radio Suffolk. I'm Sam Day, sitting in for Kitty Perrin, and for this last hour of the show, we're in takeover mode thanks to the University of East Anglia student-run society Headucate. Soon I'll be inviting Tori Selwyn, co-president of Headucate, and Becky Howard, co-president of Headucate, alongside Tori, to set the scene for us and tell us a bit more about Headucate. But before I do that, Tori and Becky, I was hoping I could find a little bit more about your personal journeys when it comes to Headucate. I'm under the impression, guys, that after a lot of study, both of you wrapped up medical exams this spring and are now qualified junior doctors. How about that?
I mean, yeah, technically, we're still kind of in that period of trying to change over from calling ourselves medical students to junior doctors. And a lot of people, when I've been on the wards the last couple of weeks, are introducing me as doctor, but it doesn't feel it's too surreal just yet. I don't know about Becky, but...
Yeah, what about you, Becky?
Yeah, definitely. For me, I've still been going as medical student for now, but there's not long left of this term, and then that will be for university, which is really scary, but also exciting.
Well, okay, what about the summer ahead then? We'll start with you, Becky. What are you going to do after university?
So after university, I'll be starting my job sort of towards the end of July. I'm going to be moving sort of Essex way, which will be exciting because I'm from Norfolk, so I haven't lived anywhere else before. So that'll be a little bit of a move for me. So I'll be starting that end of July, and I'll be a junior doctor starting on a general medicine rotation.
Nice. What about you, Tori?
So before I start working, I'm looking forward to having a nice long break, hopefully go abroad for a little bit. And we've got our graduation just before we start working, but I'll be starting work same time as Becky, end of July, and I'll be moving back home closer to Hertfordshire, which is where I'm from, which is really exciting. But we're still hoping to work a lot with kind of Norfolk and east of England in the future with kind of the medical school and the uni, because we've built such amazing ties. So yeah, it's going to be a new chapter, but hopefully not goodbye to Norwich forever.
Amazing. Tori, there's a few of you here this evening to tell us about the range of things that Headucate gets up to. So shortly we'll be finding out more from you and Becky. But first, can you let us know why you opted to get involved in Headucate and why it matters to you so much?
Yeah, I mean, when I first joined medical school at University of East Anglia about 5 years ago, I was going through the societies fairs, which is where they have stalls of all the different societies and clubs that you can join. And Headucate, I don't know, it kind of stood out to me. The idea that, we'll talk a bit more about what we do later, but the idea that we can make an impact reaching young people, going into schools and running mental health awareness workshops. That was something that I thought, oh, wow, like if I had maybe had that while I was at school, how things might be different, and it's just making a difference in that small way that we can. And I guess it's important to me personally. I guess everyone has their own struggles and their own personal battles, and I know people that have been really affected by mental health. So yeah, I just think it's important for us to all do our little bit in advocacy in whatever way we can. And for me, that's Headucate.
Becky, what about you? Oh, I think we got a crash from Becky there. Becky, are you there? Oh yeah, we've got so okay. Well, I'll talk a bit more about Headucate to yourself, Tori. We'll see if we can get Becky back on. We've got a she's crashed at the moment, but hopefully we'll get her back. Tori, we're going to be heading the airwaves to Headucate. Why do you think it's so important to have, especially in a university setup?
I mean, obviously, everyone is affected by mental ill health. When there's students that are going to university and they have these big life changes, moving away from home, being away from family, living with kind of strangers that are kind of different to their routine. It's a place where people need more kind of support and to know where they can access support. But I guess also with our going into schools and doing work with young people, it also gives people the chance to improve on their personal and professional development, as well as kind of meeting new people and making that university environment a bit more comfortable and happy to be there. And I think we might have Becky back.
Yes, we do. Just quickly, Becky, what does Headucate mean to you? Can you tell us a bit more about how you became involved in Headucate and what's the impact on you being involved there? Oh, I think we've... I think we might have lost Becky again. Oh, no. Okay. We'll try our best to get Becky back on. Becky, can we... can you hear me, Becky? Come on, we'll get there. We'll get there in the end. Becky, can you hear me? Hello?
I think I'm back now.
Hey!
Hello, I'm sorry.
Hey, we got there. Yes, come on. Yes, we will defeat Zoom. Oh, it's such a pesky thing, isn't it, Zoom, eh? Well, tell you what, now you're back, Becky, let's hand over the show to yourself and Tori, shall we? So you're going to talk about Headucate and an introduction to Headucate. So Tori and Becky, whenever you're ready, off you go. I'm going to kick back. The radio's all yours.
Thank you. So Becky, do you want to, I guess, start us off, tell us a little bit about introduction to Headucate? I'm not sure if we might have lost Becky again. I can start us off.
Awesome. I'll start us off and hopefully be all right now. So Headucate.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a track first. We're going to sort out the technicals, and then we'll be back with Tori and Becky. Oh, pesky Zoom, eh? Pesky Zoom.
I'll admit I was wrong. What else can I say, girl? Can't you play my head and not my heart? I was drunk, I was gone. That don't make it right, but promise there were no feelings involved. No. She said, boy, tell me honestly, was it real or just for show? Yeah. She said, save your apologies. Baby, I just gotta know. How long has this been going on? You've been creeping around on me while you're calling me baby. How long has this been going on? You've been acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby. I'll admit it's my fault, but you gotta believe me when I say it only happened once. I tried and I tried, but you'll never see that. You're the only one I wanna love. Oh yeah. She said, boy, tell me honestly, was it real or just for show? She said, save your apologies. Baby, I just gotta know. How long has this been going on? You've been creeping around on me while you're calling me baby. How long has this been going on? You've been acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby. How long has it been going on, baby? You gotta go tell me now. She said, boy, tell me honestly, Was it real or just for show? Yeah. She said, save your apologies. Baby, I just gotta know. How long has this been going on? You've been creeping around on me while you're calling me baby. How long has this been going on? You've been acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby. Going on, been creeping around on me. How long has it been going on, baby? You gotta go tell me now. Acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby.
Charlie Puth, how long on the social? It's the Headucate takeover, and I was just about to go back to Tori and Becky as they just give you a little bit of introduction into Headucate and who are they. So we've got Tori ready to go, and we've also got Becky on the phone line now. So whenever you guys are ready, off you go.
So Becky, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Headucate is a society. It's been set up at the UEA. So it started as a group of Norwich Medical School students, and the main sort of aim of Headucate was to go out to secondary school workshops and secondary schools and do mental health awareness workshops. So that was how it started. This was 10 years ago now. So since then, we've still been doing our workshops, but we do lots of other events and outreach work as well. Tori, did you want to go into a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, Headucate has come such a long way in the past 10 years. And as Becky mentioned, we've done so many different kind of things to raise awareness, different campaigns, and worked with different speakers and people involved in mental health and advocacy. And I think it's so important that we carry on with the conversation about mental health. It's still very much got stigma associated with it, and we'll hear a little bit from Autumn a little bit later, her thoughts about stigma. And yeah, we really just have so much passion for what we do. All of our society members, we have about 150 members now. All of them have so much passion for what we do, and they all get involved in their own ways, whether it be through going into our schools and delivering mental health workshops, whether it be getting involved in some of our kind of social media campaigns where we've kind of done different photo shoots, recognizing body positivity, and just kind of loving ourselves and the importance of that, and kind of self-love and self-care. And yeah, we're doing a lot more kind of national work now. So Becky and I have started working we founded Headucate UK, which maybe Becky, you can explain a little bit about Headucate UK and how it came about.
Yeah, so Headucate UK, well, Tori said we founded it, but actually Tori's the founder of Headucate UK. We're coming up to the sort of end of our time now at university, and we just really wanted to continue the work that sort of Headucate does. And in terms of sort of different universities, running a Headucate society and running mental health awareness workshops in their sort of local areas. So the idea of Headucate UK was to essentially have like this sort of hub where we can have all like resources and all mental health sort of societies can come together and share their experiences and ideas. So that's the aim of sort of Headucate UK. So at the minute, there are a few different branches of Headucate at different universities across the UK. So we're hoping to expand that and have some more Headucate branches open up. But we also work with all other mental health awareness societies. So yeah, hopefully that that's where sort of Headucate is headed in the future. We just want to keep growing and keep spreading the word and spreading mental health awareness as sort of far and wide as we can.
Yeah, and I think like we've had so much success with Headucate UEA. Recently we've won a few national awards, including Society of the Year at National Undergraduate and Employability Awards, for which we won about £1,000 for the society to basically do whatever we wanted with it. And we just want to kind of help other mental health societies replicate that success across the UK. So Headucate UK, we've currently got about 20 different societies as kind of affiliated with us or a part of our kind of directory for Headucate UK. And we've got a WhatsApp group with about 50 representatives from all corners of the UK, kind of representing their societies. And as Becky said, we kind of share resources and ideas and support. And we've done one national collaboration so far, and we're hoping that we can do a couple more of those soon. But as well, we've got, as was mentioned earlier, Headucate UEA was founded 10 years ago now. So we're celebrating its 10-year anniversary party on Monday. And so we're going to give you a couple of details about that. Becky, do you want to tell us a bit about what people can expect from the night?
Yeah, so the 10-year anniversary party is coming up. So it's next Monday now, so it's Monday the 9th. And it's going to start from around 6 p.m. And it's open to everyone. We really love anyone who can come along, especially UEA students. It would be great to see as many faces as we can there. And it's going to be an amazing night. There's going to be lots of different performances from lots of different dance societies. We have some sort of singers as well. It's hosted by an amazing comedian. We're going to have a raffle and different stalls as well with student services from the UEA and Career Central from the UEA as well. So it'll be a really exciting night.
And we're also going to be hearing from the original founder of Headucate UEA, Dr. Susie Parker, on the night, who hopefully will be joined by some of the founding committee, and they'll tell us a little bit about how it came about, kind of, because I've only been involved with Headucate for like 5 years now, so I don't know about kind of its earlier history. So it will be even really interesting for me to hear from them. And as Becky said, it's Monday, the 9th of May. So Monday coming up from 6 till 9 p.m. On university campus at the LCR. And you can get tickets on the UEA SU website. So if you just type into Google Headucate 10-year party, it should come up. Or you can look via the UEA SU website on the events. And so we'll be back after this. You're listening to Headucate Takeover here on the social. We'll be back after this.
Remember the feeling of my fingertips on your skin, and the way that our kisses taste sweeter after drinking, and the way that I rage into your love while you breathe me in, just so you can fill me with you even when I'm not around. Don't forget my love. Don't forget my love. Don't forget my love. Don't forget my love.
Diplo and Miguel on the social with Don't Forget My Love. Sam Day here, sitting in for Kitty Perrin on the social this evening. And this hour, I get to kick back as some of the UEA Headucate team take over at the social for the last hour. Next up, we're going to be meeting first year rep for Headucate, Awesome Combe. How are you doing, Awesome?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
All good, all good. So you're currently in your first year of studies at the University of East Anglia, is that right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Nice one. What are you studying?
Mental health nursing, funnily enough.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So how did you become involved with Headucate, Autumn?
Pretty much the same story as Tori. I was looking around at the societies and the clubs. That's in Headucate being the main and like basically one and only mental health group at UEA. I went along to their taster event back in September when I first joined. And it was such a fun night. I really got talking to the committee. They were all so lovely. And I was like, this is the society I want to put my everything into. So the next month I applied for first year rep and here I am annoying them all.
There you are. There you are. Now, we've got reports that we're going to play from you. It's all about destigmatising conversations, attitudes and treatment of mental health issues. Recent years we've seen conversations surrounding mental health open up in a big way. So do you feel that aspect of a stigma is still a major concern, Autumn?
Massively. There has been definite progress. We're challenging more and more each day the way like we use like mental health vocabulary, focusing less on the adjectives, really focusing on early intervention, how important that is in preventing relapse. But sadly, there is still quite a lot of stigma around mental health. And it's just educating and really making yourself known with the mental health world, even if it's just basic research, there's still a lot more to change.
Nice one. Well, we've got a wonderful report that you've done for us. If you could introduce that and we'll play it on the radio.
Okie dokie. Well, my name is Autumn Coombe, and this is a report about stigma in mental health that I recorded yesterday evening. And I hope you listen to this and take away something important about the next time you think about mental health. And yeah, hope you enjoy.
This segment will be discussing personal accounts of stigma while suffering with various mental health disorders. These can be sensitive topics, so please listen on with caution. Let's start with establishing what stigma is. Stigma is the negative attitude and discrimination towards a certain characteristic. For example, characteristics can be someone's age, gender, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or mental health. Expression of stigma can be due to misinformation about the characteristic or complete disregard of the truth surrounding that characteristic. Expressing stigma can involve dismissing someone's suffering due to stereotypes that the individual doesn't fit into. For example, accusing someone of not having a physical disability because it is not clearly visible at that moment in time. Thankfully, much progression has been made to break down stigma in physical health. However, stigma is still far too common within mental health. Stigma and stereotypes are often the foundation to which barriers between mental health sufferers and supportive services are built upon. Fear of stigma has been expressed in 9 out of 10 mental health sufferers in the UK, therefore preventing sufferers from feeling able to seek or access support. Examples of stigma in mental health could be spoken stereotypes, such as, "You're such a happy-go-lucky person, you can't suffer from depression. You're a man, you can't be anxious. You were happy yesterday, you can't really be that low now." You get the picture. Stigma is not only expressed by the public, nor by people who may not understand mental health altogether. Far too often, stigma is demonstrated by the exact people we rely on to guide us, services themselves. Of course, they are not the entire problem, but they are an aid in retaining the glass ceiling effect amongst those in mental health who seek support, those who want to receive intervention to address their problems once and for all, those who are ready to take the next step away from their mental health disorders, those who seek to understand what it is they suffer with and how they can help themselves. Those people are cut short due to the characteristics they hold and how they don't fit into the expectation of someone with that mental health struggle in particular. As someone who has suffered with various mental health struggles since a young age, too often have I been in receipt of unnecessary stigma whilst trying to navigate my way through the already burdening wave mental health imposes. At age 12, I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa after seeing my school counsellor for a few months. He identified my thoughts, beliefs and behaviours were in line with someone with anorexia nervosa and referred me to Children's Mental Health Services to receive intensified help. After the diagnosis, I discussed this with my peers for about 10 minutes at school during the break, all whilst eating a snack as I began to feel the physical impact of anorexia nervosa. From behind me, a teaching assistant who was stood listening the whole time decided to approach me and say, "You can't have anorexia because real anorexics don't eat." Those words cut through me and consequently caused me to throw away my food, not just for that day, but until I was too physically poorly to attend school anymore. That one assistant's comment, an assistant who is employed at a school to support students, still sticks with me every time I eat. An age-old stereotype around eating disorders is that you don't eat. You don't have any other occupation on your mind than losing weight, or food, or your next meal. You're either exercising or purging food. This is a false and extremely harmful stereotype to have. Whilst this has slowly improved over time as newly qualified professionals practice with up-to-date research, for older generations who grew up with a different perspective of mental health altogether and continue to practice in that era, it is a difficult subject to reteach. A few years down the line, after being physically stable for some time, I began to relapse. I was re-engaging with disordered behaviours around food. However, I remained physically stable at that point. I'd previously been told throughout treatment to seek support at its first sign of anorexia rearing its ugly head, as early intervention is key to preventing a potentially deadly relapse. I decided to reach out to services to request support and stop this relapse before it became too concrete. Put their response: "You're not underweight, you do not qualify for our support." Another harmful stigma surrounding eating disorders is how eating disorders should look. The general opinion is that being underweight is a sign of an eating disorder, or to have an eating disorder, you should be underweight. This stigma comes from the age-old body mass index, or BMI system, where medical professionals would complete an equation to find out if your weight for height range is correct. Within the last 10 years, BMI has slowly been proven to be ineffective as an accurate measurement due to muscle mass weighing more than fat, therefore suggesting people with a high BMI are obese. However, in eating disorder services, it is still an unreliable barrier to accessing support. Unsurprisingly, I continued to relapse, and my weight fell below the healthy weight range. I was then referred to specialist eating disorder services as my physical health continued to decline, and despite already meeting the unsupported requirement to be underweight, I was rejected again due to not being underweight enough. Some services still require patients to be at least 3 points below the highest cut-off point of classifying as underweight. A general comment shared amongst eating disorder sufferers when questioned about accessing support summarises the outlook of service requirements. You have to be dying to get help. This not only feeds into the eating disorder's thought process of not being worthy of help, but it further fuels stigma around eating disorders and what they should look or sound like. Over the past 10 years, there has been numerous campaigns and efforts to shift the focus from stigma-fueled assumptions about eating disorders. Charities such as B have played a phenomenal role in refocusing the intervention criteria and ongoing treatment of all types of eating disorders. However, there is still much a way to go, as the hard work doesn't stop with awareness. We need to be implementing these new strategies and frameworks into health governing bodies to reteach the population about eating disorders. This is a large hurdle to jump, as education requires immense funding, of which our NHS is already struggling to receive overall. But this is absolutely no excuse for what can be done at home. Charities alongside B, such as Mind, Eating Matters and Headucate, all provide research and information for free public use on the internet. Each year, countless charity fundraisers are held to continue to fund this vital shift away from stigma and towards factual change. So, what can we do? What can you do? Educate ourselves. Not just on the many types of eating disorders, as this is only one aspect of stigma experience in my life alone. Millions of people each day are being stigmatised for their individual mental health, whether this is OCD, frequently stigmatised as being clean and organised, anxiety, stigmatised as something only teenage girls suffer with, borderline personality disorder, stigmatised as an attention-seeking disorder, depression, PTSD, ADHD, autistic spectrum disorder. If you come across these stigmas, often portrayed as adjectives, challenge them. Become informed on what they really are for a sufferer, and be part of the movement for easier access and unconditionally supportive care. Thank you. For more information around eating disorders, go to www.beateatingdisorders.org.uk.
Thanks to Autumn there, first year rep for Headucate, for thoughts on stigma. That's amazing stuff. Great report, that. And as well as that link that you just heard, details of organisations offering information and support with mental health are also available at bbc.co.uk/action line, or you can call for free anytime 08000 155 998. That's 08000 155 998. Sam Day here, sitting in for Kitty Perrin on the social, and this hour sees the airwaves being taken over by Headucate, a student-led society at the University of East Anglia that focuses on destigmatising conversations surrounding and approaching to mental health. This year is Headucate's 10th anniversary, so we're going to bring Tori and Becky back in. You right, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah, nice one. So let's talk about how much it's changed over a decade. Shall we start with you, Tori?
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, I've only been a part of Headucate for the past 5 years since I've been part of UEA. So I guess I can mostly only speak for what I know of those 5 years. I know back 10 years ago when it was started, their main focus was working with children and going into schools and running their awareness workshops. And they had quite a small-ish membership, and they would have kind of occasional psychiatrists and allied health professionals interested in mental health come to speak. And over time, we've grown in our membership size. We've kind of doubled or over doubled in size over the past kind of 2-3 years. And we've increased the number of like avenues and in the ways that our members can get involved. So in terms of, we've started only doing socials for our members in the past couple of years, so people can actually like meet like-minded people and actually make friends. We've started doing a lot more in terms of research. So we've published a few things in scientific and academic journals about opportunities for students in mental health advocacy and things like that. We've also worked a lot with the university, and Becky, myself, and one of our other committee members, Kira, have been helping to teach the medical student eating disorder curriculum, because there was kind of gaps within that when we had that teaching last year. And Becky and I got in contact with the kind of leads of psychiatry at the med school and said kind of, would it be okay if we helped to deliver this? And so we're teaching that this year. And there's just so many different kind of things that we've done that make us proud to be part of Headucate. And yeah, I guess also we've won a lot of awards, as I mentioned, that have kind of just shown how amazing all the stuff is that we've managed to achieve.
And going to you, Becky, with this one just quickly, because I know you've got some 10th anniversary celebrations on the go. What can we expect from them, and remind us of the details of what's happening and how people can celebrate?
Yeah, so we're having our 10-year anniversary party. So it's this Monday coming, the 9th of May. Doors open at 6 p.m. and it's being held on the UEA campus in the LCR. So we're essentially throwing a huge party to celebrate. There's going to be amazing speakers, like the founder of Headucate UEA is going to be coming back and giving a talk. Our host is a wonderful comedian as well, and we're going to be having performances from lots of different societies. So we'll be dancing, singing, and we're going to be holding lots of stalls with a raffle, and we're going to have student services from the UEA and the careers team there as well. There's lots going on to get involved with. And yeah, it should be a really fun night. So if anyone's interested in coming along, you can get tickets on the UEA SU website on the Headucate page.
Nice one. Tori and Becky, thanks very much. I'm sure we'll be continuing to catch up. Radio Suffolk and Radio Norfolk on the social. Sam Day sitting in for Kitty Perrin, and this hour is a Headucate takeover. And some of the wider Headucate folks have been busy collecting their tips for coping, so we'll be hearing some of those soon after this one from Lizzo. This one's about damn time. New music here.
It's bad o'clock, yeah, it's thick 30. I've been through a lot, but I'm still flirty. Is everybody back up in the building? It's been a minute, tell me how you're healing. Cause I'm about to get into my feelings. How you feeling? How you feel right now? Oh, I've been so down and under pressure. I'm way too fine to be this stressed, yeah. Oh, I'm not the girl I was or used to be. I might be better. I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Feeling fussy, walking in my Balenciennes, trying to bring out the fabulous. Cause I give a fuck way too much. I'ma need like 2 shots in my cup. Wanna get up, wanna get down. That's how I feel right now. Oh, I've been so down and under pressure. I'm way too fine to be this stressed, yeah. Oh, I'm not the girl I was or used to be. But I might be better. Turn up the music, turn down the lights. I got a feeling I'm gonna be alright, okay, alright. It's about damn time. Turn up the music.
Lizzo on the social, Sam Day sitting in for Kitty Perrin, and this is a Headucate takeover. Headucate is a student-led society at the University of East Anglia that aims to destigmatise attitudes when it comes to mental health. Now, some of the Headucate team have been busy thinking about some of the coping techniques they find help them, and here's some of their thoughts.
A coping tip I found useful to ensure my mental health stays on track is to commit to a routine, force myself to do the things I don't want to, and even try and learn to love those things that I don't want to. And it generally helps me feel like I'm happier in my day-to-day life.
Every night before you go to sleep, to try and end the day on a positive note, try and think of 3 things that you are grateful for.
Start with the basics, get a good night's sleep, try and keep your diet balanced and healthy, and try and get a little bit of exercise in your day.
To reach out to people around you for support. Remember you're never alone and that there's always people who care about you.
Remove toxic people from your life, surround yourself with people that care.
Breathing exercises. This is super helpful for when you're experiencing stress, anxiety or panic attacks.
To take time for yourself and make sure that you do things that make you happy.
Really interesting stuff there. So you're listening to The Social on BBC Radio Suffolk and BBC Radio Norfolk. Sam Day sitting in for Kitty Perrin, and today we're being treated to a takeover thanks to Headucate, and we've been hearing all about the coping tools that some of the team have been busy thinking about. So some of the coping techniques that they find help them. Let's have a few more.
My best coping tip is journaling both my positive and negative experiences, so I've got something to reflect on.
My way of coping is to go and stroke one of my animals. I have a house rabbit and I find it really comforting to go sit with him, stroke him, play with him as a distraction.
Having a hobby, something that's unrelated to work or to school, not an obligation, and then just taking little steps in it, maybe doing something specific to that hobby or learning about it, gives me that small sense of achievement that does help me feel better about myself in the end.
My coping tips are doing something creative like embroidery or arts and crafts, having a long hot bath with lots of bubbles, and spending time with my really cute bunny rabbit.
Sometimes life gets hard, but when it does, I take a break, cook myself a hearty meal, and enjoy time with the people I love. Because that makes me less stressed at least.
One thing that I use to cope is to try and do something a little bit creative and a little bit different. I think it always makes you feel better. When you're not feeling your best, or if you're feeling stressed as well, it's good to take some time out. Things that I do is embroidery, colouring, pottery painting, but you can do anything you like and you don't have to be good at it. So don't worry about it looking perfect, just give it a go.
One of my favourite coping strategies is doing a stretching circuit when I wake up in the morning. I think it really energises me and helps me focus and get ready for the day.
My way of coping is learning a new song on my guitar. I find that it keeps my brain and my hands busy, gives me a sense of achievement, and also makes me feel a part of the music that I love.
I have no control over my thoughts and feelings as they come and go naturally, for I am human. The only control I have is over my actions and the steps I take towards a more fulfilling life.
That's amazing. Thanks to the Headucate team for their coping toolkit. And it's a Headucate Takeover special that you're listening to ahead of their 10-year celebrations taking place next week at the LCR at the University of East Anglia. Stand by, we'll be back soon to hear from Gaia and Amy after this.
You said that this would be the last time that you would fall in love.
times you've had your heart broke. You said you'd had enough, but I feel it in my heart that we can leave our past behind. 'Cause I knew it from the start that baby I can change your mind. Oh, yeah, yeah. So let me hold you, boy, caress my body. You got me going crazy. You turn me on, let me jam you. Boy, wine all around me. You got me going crazy. Turn me on, turn me on. So let me hold you, boy, caress my body. You got me going crazy. You turn me on, let me jam you. Boy, wine all around me. You got me going crazy. Turn me on, turn me on. I won't make the same mistakes that she did. You know we got that trust. Now you know that this time that it's different. You know I won't give up. But I feel it in my heart that we can leave our past behind. 'Cause I knew from the start that baby I can change your mind. Oh, yeah, yeah. So let me hold you, boy, caress my body. You got me going crazy. You turn me on, let me jam you. Boy, wine all around me. You got me going crazy. Turn me on, turn me on. So let me hold you, boy, caress my body. You got me going crazy. Turn me on, let me jam you. Boy, wine all around me. You got me going crazy. Turn me on, turn me on.
Love that. Hold You. Hicks Jessica Hammond on the social on BBC Radio Norfolk and BBC Radio Suffolk. Now, time to introduce Gaia Farrows, Secretary of Headucate, and Amy Zile, Health and Safety Officer, also at Headucate. Briefly, tell me both how you became involved with Headucate. Let's start with yourself, Gaia.
Yeah, so hello. I guess like everybody else before me, first year I wanted to try everything. I went and bought a membership for most things I could find. And not going to lie, after 4 years I realised you cannot do everything at all. And Headucate is one of the things that actually stuck with me. So here I am, still here after 4 years.
Nice one. What about you, Amy?
So I'm actually doing a PhD, so I got involved with Headucate because I've been very active with student mental health advocacy in the past. I used to run a student minds group, and Headucate is the equivalent at UEA, so I thought I'd see what they're about. Turns out really great, and just kept getting involved.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, you both love it so much by the sounds of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kick back again, and I understand that Gaia is now going to be taking over now in the interviewing department, chatting with Amy. So here we go. Gaia, over to you. The radio's in your hands.
Thank you very much, Sam. So I was thinking, Amy, before we get right into it, can you just quickly recap what Headucate does, so for people who have just tuned in?
Yeah, of course. So Headucate, one of the main things we do is outreach workshops where we go into schools and deliver sort of half-hour to hour-long workshops to raise awareness about mental health, how to approach your friends if you think they might be struggling, how to deal with it yourself, and places where you can get support for your mental health as a young person in Norfolk and Suffolk.
Yeah, perfect. And so why is what Headucate does so important then?
So Headucate, we think it's really important for young people to know about their own mental health, to be able to recognise the signs in themselves and in others, as many schools don't have a dedicated curriculum for this, and many members of Headucate found that they wished that their school had given them more information about looking after their mental health. especially given the age of onset of many common mental health conditions is between 13 to 18 years, which means that intervention in schools, particularly secondary schools, is really, really important to make sure that young people have the skills that they need to look after themselves and reach out for help.
So what is the impact that you're hoping to have with these schools workshops?
So we hope that equipping young people with knowledge about mental health can allow them to better understand themselves. It can also lead to early intervention and treatment if any young people are struggling. There's a lot of evidence showing that early intervention is really beneficial. And early interventions and home treatment for mental health problems can reduce hospital admissions, shorten hospital stays, and require fewer high-cost or intensive interventions later on down the line. It can also help young people to build up the social and emotional skills, which are really essential for their learning and life and study balance, and can support future good mental health.
Yeah, I suppose that's even more important nowadays due to the pandemic, as it's been quite a trying time for many of us. So how does it compare with regard to younger people?
Yeah, so COVID obviously has had a really significant impact on us all. Evidence from Young Minds, a youth mental health charity, shows that up to 80% of young people with mental health concern felt that COVID had a negative impact on their mental health, and almost 70% of them felt that the pandemic would have a longer-term negative impact on their mental health. Parents have also reported greater mental health symptoms in their children, and this mirrors NHS data around children and young people's mental health during the pandemic. Over the past year, child and adolescent eating disorder services in the NHS have seen almost a doubling in the number of both urgent and routine referrals. So there really does seem to be a big impact on youth mental health at the moment coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah, I agree. That's really staggering numbers. And speaking of eating disorders, you might have heard about the debate going on regarding new rules regarding calorie information menus. So for those listening who might not know, the UK government have recently implemented a law that requires all businesses to place calorie information on menus for each of their dishes. This is a public health initiative, so to tackle obesity. However, it sparked up discussions on how it will impact those with eating disorders. So what do you think about the matter?
So it's estimated that over 1.2 million people in the UK are believed to be struggling with an eating disorder, and that's a huge amount of people. Since the pandemic started, over 3,000 people under the age of 20 have unfortunately ended up in hospital, many needing weeks or sometimes months of treatment, a rise of over 1,000 young people in the past few years. So we really need to think critically about adding calorie counts onto menus. It can risk causing great distress for people who are suffering from or vulnerable to eating disorders. Evidence into people with eating disorders shows that calorie labeling can exacerbate eating disorder symptoms and disordered thinking. It can make eating out really difficult for those in recovery, where often things like eating out and trying new foods can be an integral part of treatment plans. But those same treatment plans are also focused on avoiding information about calories and trying not to look at the calorie content of food to avoid triggering disordered thoughts. So it would just make everything a lot more difficult for people who are trying to overcome eating disorders and try to work their way through recovery.
So do you have any advice for those who would find these changes triggering?
Yeah, so currently the rules only apply to restaurants with over 250 members of staff. So local small businesses are a lot less likely to have them. And obviously then you're supporting local small businesses as well, which is great. You also have the right to ask for a menu with no calories, or you can ask the wait staff to read you the items that they have on it, or if you're surrounded by people who are supportive, who might know things that you like, they can tell you what's on the menu without you having to look at it and see those numbers. You can also find support from BEAT, which is their website is beateatingdisorders.org.uk. And if you're based in Norfolk and Suffolk, there's a charity called Eating Matters that offer free and low cost support for people who are struggling with eating disorders.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Amy. And I think that wraps up our little interview.
Gaia and Amy, thanks so much for that. That was amazing. There we go, Radio Stars. There you go. Is that your first interview on the radio, Gaia?
Yes, very much it
Hey,
was.
smashed it, absolutely smashed it, and thank you to you too, Amy. Let's now bring back Tori and Becky on the phone as we just look back on a wonderful takeover hour that it's been for Headucate. Tori and Becky, I want to go to you with this one. I kind of briefly asked Tori about this, but Becky, about the past 10 years of Headucate, how has it been for you with your experience of it?
Well, when I joined Headucate, it was just at the start of the pandemic, so I haven't been in it for 10 years. But so the difference from when I joined it to now is huge, because everything was sort of up in the air with the pandemic just sort of starting, and this is when I sort of started to get involved, and I reached out to Tori, and we were looking at doing our workshops online to make sure that we could still sort of deliver that mental health awareness to the schools, yeah, that's like the main difference really to now, because obviously everything's sort of back up and running, and we're back in schools and in person, which has been amazing, because it's even though it's really great to still do it online, because that was all we could do at the time. I think it's a lot better in person, for both us and for the sort of school pupils as well. So yeah, and also when I started Headucate, I never sort of imagined that we would be looking at, or I would be looking at joining like Headucate UK with Tori, or even being president of Headucate, or going to national awards and things. So it's really been such an amazing journey. So I've been really grateful for being part of it. It's been great the past few years.
And Tori, speaking as someone who's been there for 5 years, to hear Becky go, I joined amidst a pandemic, and it's really good to get out there again. It must be wonderful to hear that their experience in Headucate like you were before the pandemic.
Yeah, you know what, like hearing everyone talk about Headucate, how they do, and how Autumn talked about, the first time that we met in September, and obviously like Becky, how she kind of just reached out to me, just being like, what do you think about maybe I could get involved with Headucate? And I was like, yes, please do. We've been at medical school together for like 3 years at the time, but hadn't really like crossed paths. And I was like, yeah, like this will be like a real like fun thing for us to kind of do together, and maybe we'll build a friendship out of it. And like the fact that she joined me as co-president this last year has been like amazing. I honestly like couldn't have done it without her, and like the committee are all absolutely amazing, and it's going to be really sad to leave, because Becky and I will be giving up our president hats when we leave university. But it's amazing to hear how everyone loves what they do with Headucate. And I guess, I don't see it in the same way everyone else does. I guess we have done incredible things, even just within the past couple of years with the pandemic, and making sure we could actually still reach people in lockdown. And we managed to speak to students all over the UK with our online workshops, and some of our events that we did for just like general public, like reached worldwide. We had people that joined our events from United States and Australia and like all over Europe, and making our difference like that big. I don't think we ever thought that would happen, but I guess like with COVID and how everything went virtual, it gave us that platform to be able to do it. And now I hope that we'll be able to continue working like more widely than just with the uni. I think now that COVID's happened, we've got that platform to use. Tori, just a quick one before we wrap up. Of course, we've had 10 years of Headucate, and as Autumn explored in her wonderful report about stigma, we're still at the beginning of the conversation when it comes to mental health. What about the next 10 years then? And also as well, Hedda, let's talk about how people can find out more about Headucate online too. So first, thinking about kind of stigma and going forward, I know that there is so much research and so much going into like supporting and information about mental health and education to kind of decrease the stigma. Obviously, Headucate does what it can, and kind of general public getting involved in the things that we do and what other mental health charities do really does help. And I know Headucate is getting involved in some research projects where we're asking kind of like service users and people that access mental health services what they think is important and getting their kind of point of view. So I think making sure everyone's voice is heard is the most important thing, because we are all different and we all experience mental health differently, but we all have mental health just like we have physical health, and that's why it's so important.
Nice.
And finally,
yes.
Oh, go on, sorry.
Yeah, if people want to find out more, how can they do so online?
Yes, so you can find us on all social media channels if you type in Headucate UEA, but our handles are Headucate UEA on Facebook and on Instagram, and on Twitter we are UEA Headucate. And if you want to find out what we're doing kind of nationally, you can follow Headucate UK on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as well.
Oh, amazing stuff. So, Tori, Amy, Autumn, Becky and Guy, thanks so much. It's been a wonderful hour. A big old wave from you after 3, yeah? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Nice one. Oh, a wonderful hour of radio there from Headucate. If you've missed any of that, you can go on BBC Sounds. And, of course, if you've missed any of the social this evening, we spoke to a wonderful array of people about a wonderful range of topics. And, of course, go on BBC Sounds where you can hear it all again. Thanks very much for listening.